So this morning, welcome to meditation and spiritual practice. And a lot of the times in our own kind of vernaculars, we sometimes talk about being on a journey. And we can talk about that in a lot of different ways. It can be more of the life journey that we're on, the overall path of our lives. Sometimes a journey it can be a fixed moment in time. It can be a journey of going through an illness and recovering, or taking care of a loved one. A journey can be trying to discover what kind of work that we're wanting to do, or what we're called to. Um, a journey can be going through sharing an amazing experience with a friend or a loved one. It can also be uh, processing a difficult, working through conflicts with another person too. That can also be a journey. Um, but what I want to say is this idea about talking about our lives and the experiences that we have as journeys is really the way that it's really the Torah's language. It's not some kind of new age, just, you know, come about it. It's actually very, very old. And this week's Parsha, it's a double Parsha, Matot Masa'eh. But Masa'eh, the last Parsha of the book of Numbers, really means journeys. And if we know that this book of Numbers, or the book of Bamidbar, which means in the wilderness, is really just that. It's the people of Israel's journey from Mount Sinai to the promised land, from that experience of revelation and Torah to trying to integrate that into their lives in a way that is going to be more sustaining, which really is that image of the promised land. Now, we know that even though the book of Numbers goes from the revelation at Sinai, that experience of receiving Torah, to that promised land place, the journey of the children of Israel goes back even farther, right? It goes back to also being slaves in Egypt at the beginning of the book of Exodus. And it even goes back forward to ancestral and people kind of families back into the book of Genesis, and everything that is worked out through trying to clarify what are the values and the kind of way of the people of Jacob, the people of Israel. So this, as we've talked about before, this whole journey that is in the Torah of the people is really a reflection of our own journeys. It's really a template. It's the reason why this story is read, around the cycle every year, and becomes kind of the foundational spiritual text for, all of Western civilization for sure, is because it is reflecting and mirroring our human experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so as we come to the end of the book of Numbers, where Moses and the people are getting right ready to enter the promised land, and we're getting ready for Moses's big speech before it happens, he really refers to the whole process as a journey. And we're going to look at a really beautiful commentary by, it's from a book called Or HaGanuz LeTzadikim, or The Hidden Light of the Tzadikim. It's by a Hasidic master, 19th century. His name is Aharon HaKohen of Apta, APTA. This is really the only book that he wrote, but his book is, he served a community, the Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev served for many, many years in Zelichow, and really like 25 years after Levi Yitzchak. But his whole book is really filled with the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov. His Torah is very, very linked. And so he starts on this. I'll just read the opening lines of the of the parsha that we're in. It's Ele masa'e b'nei Yisrael asher yetz'u me'eretz Mitzrayim. These are the journeys of the children of Israel who went forth from the land of Egypt. Litzivotam, which in this can be translated according to their hosts, tzva, or their armies, or their tzva can be translated in a lot of different ways. When we even say the word, when we say kadosh, 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 holy, holy, holy in the liturgy, we call one of the names of God as Adonai Tsevaot, or Adonai of hosts, almost like a lot of different emissaries of God in sense. So here it says, so they went forth from the land of Egypt, Litzivotam, according to their hosts or their groups, Biyad Moshe Aharon, under the hand of Moses and Aaron. Vayich Tov Moshe et Motzaihem Lemas'ehem. And Moses wrote their goings forth according to their journeys, al pi Adonai, according to the bidding or the mouth of Hashem. And these were their journeys, and these were their journeys according to their goings forth. And then it's going to go ahead and talk about, okay, here's the places they went. They went from here to here, and they went from here to here. So, so Rabbi Aharon first opens with a quote by the Baal Shem Tov. It's a very famous one that's recorded in a book called Tzva'at HaRivash. And he says, when you're traveling and therefore cannot pray or study in the usual way, you must serve God in other ways. Do not be distressed by this, for God desires and needs to be served in all ways, sometimes one and sometimes another. That's why it came about that you needed to travel in order to serve God in this way, right? So he's talking on a very, like, the culture of, 18th century, 19th century early Hasidism was study Torah as much as you can, pray as much as you can. That's how people lived. And then sometimes you have to do other things, right? It's so reversed for us. Like for us, we're always doing other things, and maybe we get a little piece of Torah. But at that time, it was they were studying and doing and praying all the time. And then sometimes you had to earn a living or go on a travel or do a kind of thing. And saying, don't be distressed. Like this, what you're about to do, this journey is just as much serving God, has the opportunity to serve God as much as studying Torah and praying. So this is kind of the Baal Shem's big innovation, is that living a spiritual life, living a life in relationship with God does not only happen and cannot only happen in overtly religious forms. It has to be in everything we do, to open to that presence. And so like this, we've been talking about journeys as not just, traveling, like going to England or going here, like Eileen just had, but journeys can be experiences. They can be certain things that are ways that we're being asked to grow. They can be things that it doesn't have to be geographical journeys from one space to another, but they can be inner journeys. They can be interpersonal journeys. And what he's basically saying is that no matter what journey you find yourself on, that's the place to serve God. That's the place to open up to God's presence. He says, don't be distressed by it. Don't be distressed. You are exactly where you need to be. You're exactly in that place for you to grow. And grow in what way? So then he comments, he says on the verse, these are the journeys of the children of Israel. These journeys too were for the sake of serving God. And what he says is, then he translates that Sivotam, which we're talking about as armies or hosts, according to their legions, according to their hosts. He says, no, the more direct way to translate it, let Sivotam, le means two. Le means two. So they came forth from the land of Egypt to their hosts. What are their hosts? Their very souls. their very souls. The journey that the children of Israel were taking it was a journey from the land of Egypt, from that narrow place, from that place of contraction and whole idea about what I'm supposed to do in my life and all the pressures on me and all this. They're taking the journey to their souls. And in fact, this is the definition of the journey from a Torah perspective. Whatever the journey we're on, it's a journey to our souls, to our very essence. It's a journey to uncover who we are in our depths, which is always the most sublime divine expression. So, what is it like to be in the middle of an experience and be able to be aware this is a journey I'm on? And this is a journey to my own essence. This is a journey to me discovering the depth of who I am and who I can be. How do I approach that journey? How do I approach those people? How do I approach all of that if that's my frame? If my frame is it's really about growing towards God, it's really about learning. And then the other piece that I want to lift up from his teaching, which is just so wonderful, is when he says, and these are their journeys coming forth, he pulls out this word. Is why does he have to say and again? He just said that these were his journeys, and then it says, and what's that, and these are their journeys coming forth. Ve'yisu. And he says that the and shows that the journeys, the and is that this is not just our own journey, but it's a continuation of our ancestors' journey. It's a continuation of our ancestors' journey. And remember, when we say ancestors, we're not just talking about our biblical ancestors. We're talking about our mom and our dad and our grandparents and all the way through, because for those of us that have done some more inner work or spent a little bit of time, we know that the struggles, the things, the gifts that we have, the struggles that we have, they're influenced and affected by our parents from a very young age. Who our parents were, for better and for worse, helped shape our very soul and the nature of our growth. They're the ones that, in their imperfect and well-meaning ways, created certain beliefs, thoughts, barriers towards sensing what's real and deep for us. And they also gave us inspirations, ways of being in the world that might have helped us connect. They gave the whole thing to us. And so our journeys, in some ways, they're continuing to live inside us all the way through, our parents, our grandparents, all the way. And so there's really just this sense that the journey that we're on is not only our individual, it's part of a long, long line that goes all the way through, right? We say it ledor vador, from generation to generation. We're living it. We're living that chain. And so that's also, I think, an awareness of that, that, we're doing this work, for better, for worse, in harmony with our, in conjunction with our ancestors, and we're continuing their own growth and what they were not able to achieve or do, and what their legacy was. Okay, so let's get comfortable into a comfortable position that we can sit for a period of time without moving around too much. We'll start out with a nigun, with a melody. Encourage you to sing in your own space. Let the depth of these sacred chants move our consciousness a little deeper. Ay, 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 ay. I die, I die, 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 I die, 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 die. I die, 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 die. I die, die, I die, 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 die. I die, 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 die. I die, 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 I die, 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 die. I die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. I die, 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 I die, 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 die. I die, 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 die. I die, die, die. I die, 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 I die, 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 I die, 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 die. I die, 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 die. I die, die, I die, 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 die. I die, 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 I die, 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 die. I die, 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 die. I die, 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 I die, 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 die. I die, 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 die. I die, 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 die. I die, I die, 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 I die, 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 die. I die, die, die. I die, die, I die, 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 die. I die, 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 I die, 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 die. I die, 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 die. I die, 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 I die, 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 die. I die, die, die. I die, 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 die. I die, I die, 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 I die, 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 die. I die, die, die. I die, die, I die, 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 die. Turn your attention inward, settle into your body, become aware of the movement of breath, just paying attention to that natural rhythm that's always present. The inhale as the air enters your nostrils or your mouth, the way the body expands to make room for the inhale, that place of maximum capacity of air that switches then over to an exhale, noticing the contraction of the body as the air leaves on the exhale, and then noticing that moment where the exhale reaches its maximum length and then switches over to an inhale, starting the cycle again. Just make a decision to be present for each cycle of breath. Noticing the way the sensations in the nostrils or the mouth as the air enters into the body. Notice the slight sensation of the gentle stretching of skin as you inhale and the body expands. Your choice is to be here in this present moment. This is where it all happens, right here and now. Feel the strength of your choice of life, of being here, of being with what is. Of knowing that the unfolding of divine presence, the ever renewing unfolding of creation is happening right here and now, in every breath, in every sensation, in every sound, and all the activity that surrounds you, ticking of clocks, sounds of fans or air conditioning, activity outside, whatever is part of your reality at this moment. Be with what is, staying connected to that movement of breath. And know that in this moment of presence, this is part of the journey. And this is part of what may be journeys within journeys. Maybe there's a particular journey that you're moving through with family or with children. Maybe it's a particular journey that you're moving through with synagogue community or with work. Maybe it's a journey that you're on of healing and health. There may be many journeys. Masa'e B'nai Yisrael. Many journeys that you are on. And all of them are part of the even larger journey, the journey of a life, the journey to your soul. How do you pay attention to your moment-to-moment experience with an awareness that this is part of the soul journey, that this is part of the journey to discovering who you are in your depth? How does that awareness drive your interest, your attention? Again, there's nothing in particular that we're looking for in paying attention to moment experience. It's more about the quality of our interest, our attention, our openness to what is. Open heart. I'm here to be with the journey. I do not want to let it pass me by. And if any part of this moment to moment experience is feels boring or uneventful, it's because I'm measuring my experience against a picture in my mind or an expectation of stimulus or activity that takes me away from what is. So let yourself drop even deeper into awareness of breath, of body, that everything in our moment to moment experience is part of this journey to our soul, of our soul. I'm going to be quiet for a period of time and just let us practice being an inner traveler, welcoming every part of our experience.